is going on? Driving with Billy, not driving Miss Daisy. This is Driving with Billy. We're heading out to Manhattan. So want to pick your brain, talk to you today about real estate investing, the two roads you can go down as a real estate investor. Now look, there's multiple different ways in which you can earn money, create wealth, earn fat paychecks in this business. But the two basic ones, there's two different paths you're going to go down. You're either going to choose to go down and become an active investor, or you're going to go down the path of being a passive investor. What's the difference? What's each and what's the difference? So I'm kind of both. I'm an active and a passive investor. Active investing is when you go out, you're actively, or your team is actively searching for deals, you're actively buying those deals, you're investing money, you're renovating those properties, and then you're either turning them into a rental, or you're flipping them and you're selling them on the open market to a retail buyer, or you might be in this business as a wholesaler, you're finding and then flipping a paper. That's an active investor, right? Then on the flip side, you have a passive investor. And a passive investor is where I have a shit ton of passive investors that put their money to work passively with me. They don't want to go out and find the properties. They don't want to deal with sellers. They don't want to deal with tenants and toilets and trash. What they want to do is they want to sit back, put their money to work, and allow their money to make their money when they're sleeping. When they're not doing anything, their money's earning them interest. That's known as a passive investor. It's a private note investor. It's a private investor. It's a hard money lender. Those are all considered passive investors. And so if you have money to invest and you don't have the time or the experience, the know-how to do what we do on the active side, but you want to get into the real estate game, find yourself somebody who's reputable, who's doing this business that you can partner up with, and you put your money to work with that active investor and let them put in the deals, and you can sit back and passively earn. This past year, every month, every quarter, semi-annual and annually, we go through our list of all of our passive investors that are investing with us into multiple deals, multiple states, and we have investors that put their money to work and they are passively earning $50, 60, 75, 100, $175,000 a year passively. They're not going out there and physically doing the work. They're not finding the properties. They're not dealing with the sellers. They're not dealing with agents. What they're dealing with is dollars and cents. And if the deal makes sense, they're putting their dollars to work and they're earning substantial income. There's very little downside risk if you put it together the right way. Very little downside risk. You have most of the upside. There's always risk in every investment, but for the most part, there's very little downside risk. There's certain documents and forms and information that you're going to want to get and deal with when you're passively investing with an active investor. And so I put together a 50-page white paper. I'm not selling anything in it. It's only meant to educate. If you want to get a copy of this 50-page white paper, it specifically goes through if you want to invest passively with this alternative asset class. And I call it an alternative asset class. It's been around forever. It's really investing in notes, in mortgages with active investors. If you want to get your hands on it, go to lowriskmaxreturns.com. That's lowriskmaxreturns.com. In there, on that website, there are educational videos. There's a 52-page white paper that goes through, and it shows you the differences between note investing passively, and looking at that and comparing it to that if you invest in stocks, in bonds, in mutual funds, in CDs, in other real estate investing. Like if you decide to go out and buy a real estate house on your own, it compares what you have to do there, what your returns are, versus doing it as an alternative investor, as a note investor, a passive investor in this business. And also there's 6 videos on there that teach you. They're only like 4.5, 5 minutes long. And then if you choose to do it, there's a 52-minute or a 50-minute webinar that you can go through that really goes in depth on this. Again, nothing to sell, nothing to buy, simple give back. It's my way to teach you on how to do this business passively if you want to put your money to work. So it's low cost, max returns. Check it out. I hope you like it. I hope you read it. More importantly, I hope you put your money to work so you no longer have to. Peace out.